So we continue with our tasting of 2007s, and we're going to move to the Big River. Big River is a wonderful vineyard. Why would it call it? Did we call it after a movie? No, we didn't call it after a movie. Did we call it after a river? Yeah, we might have. Yeah, it was called the Russian River. And this is a wonderful vineyard, very old, planted in 1900, that sits on this little peninsula that looks a little like Florida, because the Russian River comes out of the Alexander Valley and winds its way and hits the mountains, and it goes, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then it goes all the way off to the west, or excuse me, to the east, not to the west. If it went to the west, it would be doing the right thing, but it goes to the east. And then it turned back around and came all the way back to the north again, and then it went south again, and then it went off to the west where it was supposed to go. But when it left that little peninsula out there, it left a place that somebody said, wow, this must be a great place to plant a vineyard, and they did. And it's got this amazing soil. The soil is the Manzanita series soils. They're these red, sort of almost, madrone, color soils. They're kind of this red-brown soil. It's fairly deep, and this vineyard is unusual in the sense that most old vineyards in California of this age have other grape varieties planted. You usually have some Peterson, some Carignan, and some Alicante, and maybe one of 20 other grape varieties. But this vineyard, amazingly, is 100% Zinfandel. So when you taste this wine, you're actually tasting the essence of Old Vine Zinfandel. Most people talk about Old Vine Zinfandel, but they're really talking about Old Vine blends. So this is it. This is Old Vine Zinfandel. And let's take a look at the back of the bottle. So see if there's anything we can learn from the back of the bottle besides the glamour about the wine. And there's always a glamour shot here. But in this particular case, it tells us the vintage is 2007, so we're tasting the right wine. We bottled 980 cases of this wine, so there's not a lot of it. This is a very rare and unusual wine. And we bottled it in April of 2007, which is pretty typical of when we bottled the April of 2009, which is pretty typical of when we bottled the 2007 vintage. Because of the gorgeous fruit in these wines, we wanted to preserve that. And so we bottled these wines a couple of months earlier than we typically would. So let's see what this wine, in fact, tastes like. Nice color. The color in this wine has always got this kind of deep, sort of almost purple red quality to it that makes it really terrific. And this is an unusual wine in the sense that it smells like where it comes from, which is the beauty of the 07s, of course. This one smells like Alexander Valley. It's got that sort of round, plummy, not exactly jammy, because I don't really make jammy wines. I make wines that have a lot of spice and have beautiful structure, but if any of them could verge on jammy, this would be it. It's got a little bit of a dill sage quality in the background. It's got a hint of a coffee note. It's a very complex wine, but it just fills up the glass. Wines have shape as well as bouquet and flavor. Some wines are spiky. Some wines are kind of multifaceted and they hit you in different ways. But some wines are like big fuzzy balls, and they just come at you and they just kind of go, and they envelop your entire nose. This is such a wine. And when you take a long, deep sniff, it just sort of keeps coming back and back. You can begin to feel it not only here, but you can feel it back almost all the way to your ears. And it's really cool. There's not really a hint or a trace of alcohol, even though I think that this wine has a significant amount of alcohol. Well, it's exactly where it should be. It's 15%, which is good Zinfandel territory. It's not 17, it's not 12, it's not too big, it's not too small. As the Three Bears would say, it's just right. It's very nice. Wow, that's a mouthful. But it's a really pleasant mouthful. It's got this really fine tannin that's sort of sitting there on my tongue right now. But when I put it in my mouth, it just kind of unfolded and gave me this kind of rich, plummy vanilla quality. Just traces of coffee there. And it's just sort of lingering there. But it's very fresh. It's very pure. It's a really clean kind of flavor. This is a terrific wine. I will be very happy to be drinking this wine for many years, and I think you should be as well.